I'm back with David Mixner, Laverne Cox, and Noah Michelson, also known as Michelson in the last segment. Laverne mentioned it, and Justice Kennedy mentioned the impact on children of gay parents. Here's what he had to say.
There are some 40,000 children in California, according to the Red Brief, that live with same-sex parents. And they want their parents to have full recognition and full status. The voice of those children is important in this case, don't you think?
Now, my kids would love for me to be married. Then they would legally have 3 Jewish mothers. Listen, Kennedy is considered the swing justice here, correct? Do you think he was sort of tipping his hat here? What do you think this sort of question, what kind of impact do you think this will have?
Oh, I think Kennedy's a very sympathetic individual towards this issue.
Right.
And he's been good on several previous Supreme Court cases. You know, and one of the things that we have to be very clear about with our children, these children are blessed.
Right.
Because when I was growing up, it was against the law for us to have any children. I remember a court case in Florida where the judge gave a child to someone on death row because the mother was a lesbian.
Right.
And so we love our children. And we are the best parents in the world.
Right. Because, you know, the people don't realize our kids were not mistakes.
No,
you know, I didn't get drunk and call up the sperm bank one night, you know? These kids are wanted children. We go out of our way to create families.
And we know how difficult it was for us to do. And so we're blessed. And the children are blessed because we love them to pieces.
Yeah.
And you talk to them, and a family is a family. They have 2 parents who love them, which is a lot more than most kids have, 2 parents in the house. Justice Roberts also had a lesbian cousin who was attending. How do you think that will affect?
I mean, I just think in terms of visibility, it's great in and of itself. Just to say, these people, these justices are also real people too, and they have queer family members as well. And this affects all of us.
Right.
And we all know someone who's gay or trans or bi or something at this point. And so I think it also humanized sort of the case in and of itself.
And he doesn't want to go to Thanksgiving with her like glaring at him. Oh, I'll get my turkey, and then my partner will get her turkey. Nancy Pelosi attended as well. So this makes it really sort of political. How do you feel about that? Is it really politics? I mean, I think of this as such a civil human right. People are equating it to Roe v. Wade, but I think it is more of a Loving versus West Virginia. It really is. Or Virginia. I'm sorry, I said West Virginia. I'm sorry. Loving versus Virginia. Do we have any faith that these justices have political neutrality?
No. I have no faith that they have political neutrality. And the reality is that Audre Lorde said the personal is political. All these, the ways in which we live our lives are political. So it's politicized anyway. You know, when we were looking at the Supreme Court last year, you know, Clarence Thomas's wife was involved in an organization that was, you know, anti, you know, affordable health care plan. So it's, you know, the justices are all political.
And he's so vocal, Clarence Thomas. You know, every time I'm like, shut up, Clarence, really? Do you think the Dems will use this as a wedge issue to gain momentum?
Well, I mean, how ironic. I mean, I remember in 1988, Mike Dukakis, a group of us wanted to raise $1 million because of HIV and AIDS and gay and LGBT issues. And they turned us down because they didn't want that money.
They didn't want that money.
They didn't want that money.
That's right.
And I remember times people would return my check because they didn't want to be associated with me. Now suddenly,
I'll take your check.
So, yeah, I wish I had one to give you. Suddenly, we're very popular politically. But I wanted to say one thing about Pelosi and also about Roberts' cousin. The most revolutionary act that got us here is coming out.
Right, as Harvey Milk.
I mean, it is the most revolutionary act. It is why we're here. The polls show that anyone who knows anybody that it's LGBT, they overwhelmingly support our rights. And if they don't, they overwhelmingly oppose us.
And they all do. Even the ones that say they don't, they do.
That's right. And so wherever you are out there, come out.
Right.
Because if you do, our path will be easier.
Right.
But I think it's important to note, though, so many trans folks I know, I produced a lot of TV shows, and I've attempted to anyway, and so many trans folks who are our best and brightest are afraid to come out because we're still at high risk of being murdered or being victimized. There's a huge stigma around coming out when you're trans. And it's, I think about this, marriage equality thing, and I think about Stonewall. And the Stonewall Rebellion was started by trans and gender nonconforming people. And there's still not quite the, I look forward to the day when the broad coalitions that have come together around marriage equality come together around transgender equality.
And that will, I too believe that'll happen. Mike Huckabee said in an interview that if the GOP supports gay marriage, he and the other evangelicals will now start their own third party.
God
I guess
should be
it
so
would.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
The tea and cake party. I don't know what they would. I mean, listen. Don't let the doors of the ark hit your ass on the way out. Who cares?
No one cares.
This country was based on the separation of church and state, and we're not asking for religious marriages. And if you're an evangelical, then fine. No, we don't want to get married in your church.
No, and these people are so out of touch. We were in front of Supreme Court yesterday asking them what are they really afraid of in terms of gay marriage and marriage equality, and they were telling us literally that the world will end. If this happens in June, the world will end. And I think if that's your platform,
I'm getting Botox then. Are
yeah,
you serious?
exactly. So I just think I cannot take these people seriously at all, and they are on their way out.
I believe you.
Go ahead.
The Republican Party is so fractured right now anyway, right? We see that there's gerrymandering and there's a Tea Party and nothing can really get done, and they don't know who they are anyway. So it would be kind of exciting if there was another, split in the Republican Party for me. I would be excited by that.
Well, and we have to be careful. We always have to be vigilant. If you look back at the history of the African American civil rights movement, anti-Semitism, just when you think it's disappeared, it crops its ugly head.
I totally.
And people now are more anti-Semitic than I can remember in a long time.
I know. I totally agree. Which is why I don't have my own show. Anyway, you guys, I could talk to you all night long.
Thank you.
All of you. Thank you so much. Laverne's film, The Exhibitionist, is available on Amazon pre-order and will be released on April 23rd, so mark your calendars. David and Noah, I can't thank you enough, and thank you so much. Next, what happens when a bunch of 20-somethings and seniors all move into the same house? Besides a lot of recreational sex, of course. I'll talk with the cast members of the new reality show Forever Young. Don't go away.